Okay, real talk, I need to confess something. It's currently 10 p.m. on a Sunday. I've got work tomorrow, and instead of being a responsible adult, I'm writing about an anime where a kid literally fights people with garbage, and I regret nothing. So let's dive into Gachiakuta, the show that's basically asking, what if we took everything you hate about society and made it into the coolest power system ever? Picture this. You're living your best life in this fancy floating city called the Sphere, and then bam, you get framed for murder and literally thrown in the trash. Most people would probably cry. Maybe call their lawyer. But our boy Rudo, he looks around at all this garbage and goes, you know what? This is fine. I'm gonna turn literal trash into weapons and make it everyone else's problem. The power system is called Anima, and it's basically what happens when you care about something so much it develops supernatural powers. So when Rudo picks up his dead foster dad's gloves and starts turning random junk into deadly weapons through something called 3R, reduce, reuse, recycle, it's not just cool, it's emotionally devastating. The manga by Urana, who worked as assistant to the Fire Force creator, is currently sitting at 145 chapters across 10 arcs, and let me tell you, it gets wild. Rudo's journey from the Ground Wanderer arc through the current Doll Festival arc is basically one long emotional roller coaster where every piece of trash tells a story. The plot mysteries are insane too. Like, why did the floating sphere separate from the ground in the first place? What's the deal with the massive Watchman creature that marks people with an X? And don't even get me started on the red matter and the Surebrec family bloodline. This show has more mysteries than your average detective thriller. Studio Bones is handling this adaptation, and they looked at the manga's raw, graffiti-style art and said, how can we make this even more unhinged? These are the same madmen who gave us My Hero Academia and Mob Psycho 100, so they know how to make things look absolutely bonkers in the best way possible. The animation feels like someone took street art and gave it a Red Bull 4 drip. Every fight scene is so fluid and intense, you'll probably get whiplash just watching. It's the kind of show that makes you want to pause and screenshot every frame, except you can't because you're too busy having your mind blown. The show dropped on July 6, 2025, and by August, it was dominating the charts. Episode 1 started with a 9.6 rating on IMDb, though that was with fewer votes, and it's currently sitting at a solid 8.1 with over 700 reviews. On My Anime List, it's got an 8.12 rating, which is honestly impressive for a show about weaponized trash. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you, the first couple episodes were a bit rough. The show was trying to explain its entire world building in like 2 episodes, and some of the dialogue felt like it was written by someone who'd never had a casual conversation in their life. But here's the thing, it got better. Like, significantly better. Once the show stopped trying to explain everything and started letting the characters just exist, it found its groove. Now I'm sitting here at 10 p.m. writing about how a show convinced me that caring about trash is actually the most powerful thing you can do. The CGI for the trash beasts still looks a bit wonky sometimes, but honestly, with how complex their designs are, I get why they went that route. Would you want to hand animate those nightmare-fueled creatures? I wouldn't. Rudo isn't your typical shonen protagonist, and thank God for that. He's not trying to become the strongest or save the world, he just wants revenge on the people who screwed him over. He's the anime equivalent of that friend who's always a little moody but would absolutely fight a bear for you. His character development is actually solid too. He learns that his powers aren't just fueled by rage, but by his desire to protect discarded things and people. In a world that treats people like garbage, the ability to find value in what others throw away is surprisingly profound. It's like the show is saying, hey, you know how society makes you feel worthless sometimes? What if that was actually your superpower? And can we talk about Jabber for a hot second? This dude is legitimately terrifying in the best way possible. He literally uses neurotoxins on himself to suppress his human instincts so he can't be detected by enemies. That's some next level unhinged behavior that somehow makes perfect sense in this world. The supporting cast is equally compelling. From Engine, the mysterious guy who recruits Rudo, to the various cleaners who all have their own tragic backstories tied to their vital instruments. Each character's weapon literally represents their emotional baggage, which is both brilliant and emotionally devastating. Is Gachiakuta gonna change your life? Probably not. Will it make you question why you're emotionally invested in a show about supernatural garbage? Absolutely. But here's why it works. In a world full of shonen protagonists who want to be the very best like no one ever was, Rudo just wants to survive and maybe get some payback. That's honestly pretty relatable. The show respects its source material while bringing something completely fresh to the table. It's gritty, it's beautiful, and it's currently kicking Solo Leveling's butt on the charts. The fact that it went from interesting premise to must-watch phenomenon in just 2 months shows it's doing something right. Plus, with Studio Bones behind it and episodes dropping weekly, there's plenty more trash-fueled chaos to come. We're only scratching the surface of those 10 manga arcs, and if the current pace keeps up, we're in for one hell of a ride. Look, if you're into shows that ask, what if trauma could literally become a weapon while delivering some of the slickest animation and most banging soundtracks of 2025, then yeah, Gachiakuta is absolutely worth your time. It's angry, it's beautiful, and it's got more emotional depth than most shows that take themselves way too seriously. Plus, you get to tell people you have trash taste in anime and actually mean it as a compliment.